with various stakeholders to understand the gap and challenges faced in the Indian Himalayan region, especially in the domain of waste management. This is where the forum can work as a collective platform to provide solutions towards sustainability and inclusivity in the wash sector by connecting the dots, bringing various stakeholders together, and promoting cross-learning among cities. Today's event is planned to initiate a conversation with the elected representatives to deliberate upon the massive waste and water challenges in the cities and towns of the Indian Himalayan region. For the next 2 days, we have 2 important panels on the topics of capacity and skill development of the elected municipal functionaries, which will be held today, followed by a session tomorrow on key bottlenecks to wash service delivery in the Indian Himalayan region. In addition, we have organized 2 site events which have been facilitated by Mr. S.P. Singh, who is the Vice President of the National Institute of Urban Affairs, and he is also the Additional Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, who was supposed to be here today in the inaugural session but could not come because of some other pressing issues in the ministry, but he has promised he will try to come anytime, either today or tomorrow during the course of the workshop. So we will be visiting the new Motibagh decentralized wastewater and solid waste treatment facility, which was started by Dr. Sudhir Krishna, who was the former secretary of our ministry. And we will also be visiting the NDMC solid waste transfer station and innovative public toilets. With these, I officially open the event and look forward to an engaging discussion, and hope that by the end of the workshop, by tomorrow, we will have some tangible direction and action in making our cities sustainable and resilient. Thank you so much for your presence, and I look forward to a very engaging discussion.
Thank you, ma'am, for opening the session and emphasizing on the need of resilient infrastructure to address the concerns of the water and sanitation sector. I would now like to call upon Dr. Mehreen Matto, Team Lead Sanitation and Capacity Building Platform at NIUA, to introduce the Parvat Manthan, Manifestation of Clean and Sustainable Hill States, and set the context for the workshop.
Can I have my presentation displayed, please? Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for being part of this closed group workshop. It's a deliberate attempt where we would want to interact with you all and to understand the problems and challenges which the Indian Himalayan cities and states face, and how we can, as a collective, do something and take an initiative towards that. Also, the event is timely when in the ongoing COP28, the UN Secretary General mentions about the melting of Himalayas 2 days back. In the recent past, the fragility of the Himalayas has been a great concern, be it the sinking of the town of Joshimath, be it the unregulated tourist influx in cities like Mussoorie, Nainital, Srinagar, or be it the water crisis landslides in states of Himachal and Sikkim. Important is the fact that Himalayas, which are called as the water towers of Asia, the third world, or simply home to many of us, including myself, is experiencing speedy and unplanned urbanization, which Dr. Kundu mentioned. So keeping that in the purview, how, as a collective, we come together to make a sustainable shift in the wake of climate change and inclusivity. Thus, in this regard, over the past 1 year, the NIUA, in partnership with BODA, NIUA has been working in the state of Uttarakhand, and BODA has been working for a decade in Ladakh on water and sanitation. We came collectively to come up with a forum. Now, to have a forum, what we wanted to do, we really wanted to go bottom up, have consultation meets with different stakeholders, that the forum should not be primarily targeting to the government officials, but everyone and each stakeholder who makes a difference when in the urban sector is part of that consultation meet. So we had meetings with the think tanks, NGOs, with the secretaries of state governments, with donor agencies, central ministry, and the elected rep was one stakeholder which was missing over the course, and thank you that you are here right now, so that we understand from different voices what are the challenges and how we can work on the same. So we had the first consultation meet in July, and many of the people representing Ladakh are here who were part of our first consultation meet. So purposely, we kept this meeting only for the grassroots NGOs and the donors to understand the gaps and challenges in different hill regions, to identify the roles and responsibilities of individual organizations, and to conceptualize and streamline the framework of the forum, to have a value proposition of the forum. So the key output of the consultation meet was the absence of the forum, because our first question was, do we really want a forum to exist, or will it be a duplicacy of any other such platform which exists in the Indian Himalayan range? So one thing which was echoed from that 50 odd people sitting, that yes, there is a need for a forum, and around a network of around 25 participating organizations was created. And during the deliberation, we came up with a consensus that let's have lighthouse cities, so that the knowledge, the experience, the on-ground work is being disseminated to other cities of the Indian Himalayan range. After having the first consultation meet, the team went across the 12 states and UTs. We met the secretaries of urban development departments of all the states and the UTs to gauge their problem and to put forward our proposal with regard to the Hill Forum, so that there is a consensus and there is no missing link between the different stakeholders. Then on that basis, we did the second consultation meet in Sikkim, Gangtok, with the decision makers. The key output was that all the states agreed that the local context of the hills is missing in the national missions and policies, and how do we integrate that and make it as a priority. Second, each state representative expressed their interest to be involved with the forum. And now on that basis, we really fine-tuned on these two consultation meets and meeting different stakeholders. We fine-tuned our whole aim of the Parvat Manthan to be a collective, responsive and effective collective that provides a platform for the hill cities to engage actively with each other, with the states and with the center. Because keeping in mind that if you talk about the geography of the Indian Himalayan range, your own states, there is dispersed population. And how do you connect with each other is something which we really want to deliberate from the Parvat Manthan, so that we support in becoming inclusive, sustainable, and resilient states in the area of urban water and sanitation, so that there is collective action and cross-learning. Now, how we will do that? There are 4 different objectives through which we really want to propagate the whole concept and bringing different voices of the hill states, because somewhere the voices of the hills are not being there at the center, or how do you push for that? So one area is capacity building, and which we will be deliberating today on that. We want to know from you all, what are the areas in water and sanitation which are high priority, which need to be, where the training is required, because NIUA over the course, one of its forte is capacity building. So be it for the official leaders, be it for the different stakeholders, be it for representatives, ULBs, research is one of the other important component. Build on body of work on mountain context so that it becomes as a policy driving notion for us. Third, advocacy to mainstream the agenda of sustainable mountain urbanization. And fourth, the prime thing is, on all these bases, we test and pilot something where we can provide you as a technical support with regard to on-ground implementation. If we can, through that Parvat Manthan, we can do some innovative solutions on ground. Based on that, we launched our Parvat Manthan this June, where we got the blessings from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs that yes, you should go for this, and we now have a support in a way from the ministry with regard to Parvat Manthan. So you can go through the website of NIUA, where we have everything with regard to what I mentioned about the dialogues, the proceedings, the various case examples which we have gathered over the course. So it's free to download. All the content is free to download over there. Now, what is the key takeaway and the way forward from all the 1 year of work which we have done? Data is integral to create an informed decision. We need to make innovations, and innovations should be upstream, right? There needs to be public-private partnership, which is intrinsic, and we need to forge partnerships. Investment in context of climate change and inclusivity, where we have a inclusive talk tomorrow later on climate change. And no work in silos, right? Multi-sectorial approach and fostering key partnership. Leveraging the convergence of various schemes is which we really want to promote from Parvat Manthan, because over the work which we have done in many states, there is a need for convergence of various schemes, strengthening the capacities of various stakeholders, focusing on building communities. It is very important that when we talk about sustainability, there is a major disruption which we have to do. And for that, the public, the private, and the social stakeholders all need to come together. And we should not forget the fact that there are indigenous practices which are there in our Indian Himalayan range states. And how do we bring them together? So bring in resources and collective thinking together. And overall, it's coming as a collective and making that change. So that is, on that note, I stop. And this is the context where we are all leading towards. And thank you to being part, and we are looking forward for your partnership further. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for setting the context of the workshop and elaborating on the forum and its previous consultation meets, as well as providing a way forward. I would now like to invite our chief guest, Shri Sering Angchuk, who's the Honorable Chief Executive Councillor of the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, to please come up and deliver his inaugural address.
Very good morning. So, first of all, I like to thanks to the organizer for inviting us and taking this initiative. along with us on the dais, our President, IMI President, Shri Ramesh Nagiji, Dr. Debolana Kunduji, and Mayor of Shimla Municipal Corporation, Shri Surender Chauhanji, and all the dignitaries and representatives from the various states. And this, I think, is we have met and gathered for many times since more than a decade with the collective effort and particular objectives. This time we are gathered here with this WASH policy. It was said by the King Martin Luther III that no matter where we come from, who we are, and where we live, we all are entitled to basic human rights of to get the clean water, clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, and a healthy land to live. So while representing the Ladakh Autonomous Development Council, actually our chairman was supposed to represent here because of his engagement, pre-engagement with the ministry. He could not able to attend here, so I'm representing in place of him. So I stand before here you to shed light on the matter of paramount importance of the water, sanitation and hygienic services in Himalaya, particularly in the Ladakh. So I don't need to give light on the how majestic the Himalaya is, what kind of challenges we are facing to ensure the access of clean water, clean air and clean environment. We always know that we all are the victim of global warming. So as we immense generous to the home of this Himalaya, it is imperative to acknowledge the fundamental right of every individual to access the safe water and safe clean air to breathe and provide the sanitation. So in the face of climate change, our Himalaya is undergoing a shift into many weather pattern. There is unprecedented rainfalls. Ladakh is witnesses since more than 15 years. Every year we are witnessing flash flood and unpredictable rainfall, melting of glaciers, scarcity of water, contamination of the underground waters. So it is our sheer responsibility to safeguard and manage the resource sustainably. Our Hill Development Council is dedicated to spearheading initiative and promote water conservation, ensure access to clean water and enhance the sanitation facilities across the region. We understand the WASH services are not only crucial for human health but also vital for the overall well-being and prosperity of our community. Though the collaborative effort with the government agencies and non-government organizations and local communities, we aim to implement innovative and inclusive solutions. Those solutions will not only address immediate challenges posed by the water scarcity and inadequate sanitation, but will also contribute to the long-term resilience of our community in face of environmental changes. So in 2018, we have taken an initiative to establish a center, so for the solid waste management center in every villages. We titled it as a Waste to Wealth, and segregation center was set up in the every block, where the primary segregation center were made through the houses, wet and solid, and plastic and non-plastic materials. And this solution not only got awareness among all the villages, all the people of villages, also the municipal, with the municipal committee and Boda and Ladakh Ecological Development Group NGO, we were able to clean up the legacy waste in Leh town. It took almost 7 to 8 years to clean up all the legacy waste. So now we are doing a way forward to how to manage the waste and wet, this solid and wet waste in Leh town. So educating in awareness play a pivotal role in our journey toward the sustainable wash service. We will tirelessly work to raise awareness about the importance of water conservation, hygienic practices, and efficient use of available resources. By empowering our communities with the knowledge, we empower them to be steward of our environment and champion of their own well-being. As we unite in facing the challenges of the ensuring access to safe and sustainable wash service across the Himalayan landscape, we recognize the high altitude terrain, fragile ecosystem, and the dispersed and scatteredly located population present unique hurdles in providing and maintaining the adequate wash infrastructure and management system. While commendable effort have been made by both national and local authorities, it is crucial that the tailor existing wash policies and framework to the specific realities of the Himalaya. The workshops of these workshops serve as a critical platform for exploring the possibility of APR rules for the Himalayan rules for in context of Himalaya. The concept of EPR placing the responsibility of managing waste on the producer offer a pathway to effectively promote waste reduction, resource recovery, and the sustainable waste management practices. There is a directive proposal by the NGT. Their order number is 606 of 2018, and the EPR rules 2016 India provide a robust foundation for addressing the wash related waste management across the Himalaya. So I hope that this workshop hold an immense significant building upon the recommendation for the sustainable mountain development summit to 11, which held in Leh this year, and the mountain state meeting in New Delhi. It presents an opportunity to take a unified approach to address the wash needs of the entire Himalayan region. So our collective goals for the workshop are to access the current state of wash across the Himalaya, to identify the specific gap and challenges in wash waste management throughout the region, to discuss the possibility of tailoring EPR rules to address the unique needs of Himalayan communities, to strategize the effective implementation of NGT directives and EPR rules in the context of Himalayas, to co-create the recommendation of the strengthening wash waste management practice throughout the region. The outcome of the workshop have the potential to shape a comprehensive sustainable wash management roadmap for the entire Himalayan landscape. So I implore each of you to actively engage in the discussion, share your valuable experience and expertise, and contribute to the development of actionable solution. Together we can ensure the preservation of pristine environment and rich cultural heritage of Himalayas. So in a conclusion, let us embark this journey together, a journey toward the Himalayan region where every individual, regardless of their location, circumstances, has access to clean water and sanitation facilities. The Ladakh Autonomous Development Council extend an open invitation to all stakeholders, urging you to join the hands in this noble endeavors. Together we can create a future where the pristine beauty of Himalaya coexists harmoniously with the well-being of its inhabitants. And thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your remarks and emphasizing on the need for access to water and sanitation with the perspective of Ladakh. I now call upon Shri Ramesh Negi, President of the Integrated Mountain Initiative, to share the people's perspective on sustainable Himalayan region.
Good morning to all of you. Dr. Debulina Kunduji, Shri Sheringji, Shri Chauhanji, and honorable mayors, deputy mayors, councillors, and autonomous council leaders, experts, and friends. It is indeed a very, very pioneering effort on behalf of NIUA that for the first time now as a process, the Himalayan urban landscape is being understood together in a very participative way. I'll just take you back to mythology that Himalayas have always been appreciated, respected for spirituality, or have been considered by poets for beauty and also for Ayurveda. And if you see last 500 years or even more, there have been European explorers coming to explore Himalayas. So if you see the stakeholders, because I have to speak on perspective of the masses from the public, if you see that how the stakeholders changed in Himalayas. In mythological times only the sannyasis would go to Himalayas. लोग कहते थे कि अब बुजुर्ग हो गए हैं, सन्यासी हो गए हैं, चलो पहाड़ में चलें और तपस्या करें. I hope my Hindi is, my friends from Mizoram may not understand, but what I am saying is that in the mythological times, old ancient times, people would go to Himalayas and sannyas, that yes, after 50, 60 years you go and worship in Himalayas, and of course, the saints would go to Himalayas. And in last 500, 600 years, the explorers started exploring Himalayas. Now, people were there, they were happy, they had their constraints, but how the time changes. And today, who goes to Himalayas? Everyone goes to Himalayas. We have tourists, we have, adventurous, we have investors, we have science and technology. Earlier it was not only the human beings which would be in Himalayas, now you have tunneling machines, you have big machinery visiting Himalayas. Wonder whether the people of Himalayas were consulted. That's a different question. Today we are on a different aspect, but it has a relevance. How the Himalayan landscape has today a number of stakeholders. A young man in India, he wants to visit Himalayas, he wants to enjoy nature. A young couple for their honeymoon has to go to Himalayas, has to have that peace, the blessing. Then elderly people also want to go for their solace. Researchers have to go, geologists have to go, everyone is there. And I said the latest stakeholders are investors, and with them big technology and machinery. They are all affecting our life. Today we are on a very limited subject here. It's a very vast subject. And how people perceive all this. What is people's perception about the saints coming? Very fine. There would be one odd saint who would go to Himalayas. People would always respect him, welcome him. I was reading a book. The name is Where China Meets India by Myant Yu. He is a historian in Oxford. He is a Burmese and he writes about India, Burma and China, and it's very interesting to see that in those they would invite scholars, and there is a mention that the Tibetan court invited Sufi scholars from Bukhara, and some of them settled there. So the migration was very limited. Very few people would come who would be invited for knowledge, who would go for knowledge. Today we don't only go for knowledge, we go for pleasure, we go for greed. I am saying greed because when I went to Leh first time, my friends from Leh are here, I was surprised to know that they said there can be 25 flights in a day. It is overwhelming. That was my first visit to Leh. I must confess that being a Pahadi myself, I somehow thought I know a lot about hills because I am from Himachal. So when I went there last year, it was rather overwhelming to see that. Is that what local people are benefiting, but is that the ultimate? Do we have to? And see the consequent issues. Recently Himachal had floods, and our friend Tikenderji here was telling that in Simla, thousands of tons of plastic garbage came down to the rivers. It was hidden somewhere in hills. The floods got it down. Now, what are the stakeholders and what are the consequences? As I said, when the saints went, explorers went, and people in fact welcomed them. Okay, you come. Now there is this different stakeholder, investor, machinery, technology. Some of the disasters we have seen in the past 6 months in Himalayas are because the change in character of stakeholders who are now part of Himalayan life. I must appreciate and I compliment them, and I thank NIUA director and her team that they last year agreed to have an MOU. It's I think 2 years MOU with IMI, where we said that we have together a stake. Since you have started Parvat Manthan, we had heard of Samudra Manthan, but I think समुद्र तो सुरक्षित है, शायद पर्वत सुरक्षित नहीं है, इसलिए मंथन की आवश्यकता है, और आपने इस मंथन को अनिवार्य समझा. हम सब जितने पहाड़ी लोग हैं, IMI is only for Himalayas and Himalayan well-wishers. We all are grateful to you. Coming to this subject of water and sanitation, it is again a coincidence. I feel lucky to share my views with you because I started my career in IAS with this very issue, water and sanitation. My first posting was in Andaman and Nicobar, DC Nicobar, and I must tell you that we had an island which was only 1.5 square kilometer area with a population of 800 people, and in the month of February and January and February they would have no drinking water. We had to send water through boats. You know why? It is a coral island, beautiful island, only 1 kilometer long and half kilometer wide. The corals they are very porous. Whatever rainwater is there, by the time it is January, that rainwater is consumed by wells, by people, and the sea water comes in. Water became a big issue there, and I got my first insights on water. Of course, as a child in Himachal, we had either snow on the top or water in the river. Tikandarji is smiling, and my grandmother and grandfather would walk 2 kilometers down to a small bawdi, that source, water source, and bring water when we were kids, and we were told you will bathe only on Monday. Rest all the week, keep yourself clean. And we would not allow crockery at home. The Dadi said, Nani said कि अगर प्लेट रखनी है तो पानी भी ले आना, चम्मच खाना तो पानी भी ले आना अपने लिए. Because water is not available in hills, mountains. That's a problem. Though we think from outside very romantic view of hills. And hotels, everything is there. So water is a big issue. I worked in Arunachal as Chief Secretary. My 4 years in working in Arunachal, I found that again in the month of January and February, the towns of Tirap. I'm very happy to have a madam here from Pasighat, but madam, you are very lucky, you have Brahmaputra next to you. You have other problem, excess of water. But the towns of Tirap, Longding, they have problem of water. They don't have drinking water that time. Though it's all hill, beautiful mountains above. But what has happened is, for some reason, there is a jhum cultivation above the water source, and it is a porous geography. The water source dries up. So we had to have a campaign, and in fact now the policy we initiated, now government has done it, to declare catchment areas of these water sources as reserve forest and wildlife sanctuaries. Otherwise, there will be jhum, there will be illicit cutting, and in the month of December, January, February, in those towns we don't have water. We had to rather write to Government of India that give us money that we have lift irrigation like in Himachal has or Leh would be having. So that is one aspect that water is today a crisis point. You might have seen 3 years back, there was a big video coverage of Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh, himself at 12 at night regulating water supply in Simla because the most of the water was being sucked by the hoteliers. Because they have money power, they have big pumps, and they would push to their side, and then Chief Justice had to go himself. It's a conflict issue. Local citizens are having water issues because, as I said, new stakeholders have come, hoteliers have come. But are hoteliers responsible? I'll tell you one example. Since I have little time because one more speaker is not there, so I can. I went once to London on a tourism conference. I worked in tourism in Delhi for a good 4 years in Goa, and when I went on Trafalgar Square Hotel, Government of India is very liberal when you travel abroad. And they are very stingy when you travel in India. So outside you get good 5-star hotel and this, that. My hotel was good and it had a big tub. And it was snowing, and when that man came to leave my luggage, he said, "Oh, you can have a nice hot water bath, we have a tub here." I was very happy. When I went after 5 years, the tub was not there. I said, "What happened to your tub?" He said, "London doesn't have water now. We have issues of water." So they changed. But are our hotels changing? I was happy to see in Shimla, I went for a marriage, and they said that hot water will come only between 9 to 11 and 7 to 10. I felt very happy that let us have some discipline for tourists. There is no water in the hotel, so 7 to 10 please take your bath. Don't have a luxury of having a disco party till 2 at night and then get up in the morning at 11 and then say, "Oh, now I want to have bath." I felt very happy about that hotel. So I asked them why. They said, "We have a water issue. We can't have water running all the time, then people waste it." These are very important issues. Leh has its issues. Coming to the other side, the sewerage. I managed Delhi's sewerage and water for 4 years. Delhi's story is known to everyone. There are areas in Delhi where you get only 25 liters per day per person, but 3 days in a week. That is Delhi. It is. But we have 450 liters in Luton, Delhi per head. But Maroli only 25 liters per person, but that too 3 days a week. like in Jordan you do. So we have a Jordan scenario in Delhi, we have a very nice scenario in Little Delhi. So water is an issue. Sewerage is another issue. We normally think that hills are very lucky, you have a Dhalao. Dhalao is a slope. In MCD, all the garbage dumps are known as Dhalao. When I joined as additional commissioner of MCD in garbage, I said, what is this Dhalao? There is no Dhalao here, there is no slope here. They said the Dhalao came from Punjab, that the village would put its garbage anywhere there is a slope. So it goes down, slides down. So in Delhi, all the big garbage dumps, 30 tons, 20 tons, which is, we carry about, today it is 11,000 tons garbage. In my time it was 8,000 tons garbage in a day. It is collected in Dhalaos. Now this garbage, the way it is increasing, the issue of processing and the sewerage are big issues in every small town. In hills, we will throw garbage in the nala. It will be forgotten. The tourist will throw in the nala. I was in Mizoram just a month back. I travel there once in 3 months for some other engagement. So Mizoram is excellent. You have best footpaths like Sikkim and best, I would say, no horn. But somehow I found that yes, the plastic is reaching your nalas. You have great discipline. Madam is here. Please do something about it. Simla, we have seen. The tourists, those are the issues we will have to have beyond. When you talk of systems, you will also have to talk of educating the stakeholders. New stakeholders which are coming from outside, who are not local, be it tourists, be investors, be it the technology, will have to be choosy. High altitude areas, my tenure in Arunachal, we saw that in Tawang, we had a problem of sewerage in winter when it is -20, and Leh has here, Takpaj is here, he was Commissioner Planning and Environment and everything. So Leh, the sewerage is now a big problem in winters. Either we close the hotels, if you are going to have thousands of tourists coming and you don't have a sewerage system which -20 it won't decompose. So those are very specialized issues. And finally I'll come to two issues which I saw myself in the municipal functioning. One is a very poor technical setup. 74th Amendment gave you fantastic political overreach. You had elections, you had reservation for women, everything. But did 74th Amendment increase the number of engineers? No. Did it increase the number of sanitation inspectors? In Delhi we have 55,000 staff, 6 chief engineers, but Delhi is Delhi, you get it. It's very easy because everybody is here, so we get it. We have money. But I know that you all people who are the mayors and municipal officers here, your municipal staff is not adequate. Government gives you money for making roads, buildings, capital, but they don't give money for Safai Karamcharis. I have been in IS myself. The biggest worry in the government is that government loves to spend on steel and mortar. It doesn't want to love on humans. I can say that even if in NIO you have to create a post, it will take 5 years. Because that's how it is. So we have to discuss and be very vocal. We need more money for men, experts, sewerage expert, garbage expert, water conservation expert in our towns. We need it. How can water be conserved? You can't expect one junior engineer in a municipality be know all. The poor chap is busy repairing roads and drains. He knows nothing of the sewerage. He knows nothing of the segregation of garbage. So these are the issues. I am sure they will be debated, discussed, and I am sure NIU will take it further because those are your pains. वो आपकी पीड़ा है जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मैं खुद एडिशनल कमिश्नर दिल्ली में रहा हूँ, तो मैंने ये खुद देखा है कि एक पोस्ट क्रिएट करने के लिए कितना हंगामा होता है. आपके पास 3 साल 5 साल का टाइम होता है, आप तब तक दफ्तरों में घूमते ही रहते हैं. दूसरा, फाइनेंस कमीशंस आर देयर in every state, good recommendations are made, but the state governments don't release the funds. We have to go to 16th Finance Commission for enhancing the capacity of the municipalities. 16th Finance Commission has been set up. I'll take one more minute on that. IMI has been very seriously working with the finance commissions. In 2 finance commissions, we could succeed with all the help of 7 chief ministers to force the finance commission to give us special forest grants. In 14th it was 7.5%, now it is 10.5%. This time we want to take up the issue of the disaster resilience and disaster remediation in Himalayas. Definitely the disasters, when they happen, intensity is more in the cities and towns. So there we would like to enhance the capacity of the towns administration management, and also some special measures, because I read the Finance Commission TOR, kindly look at it, last week it was done. It mentions about strengthening the ULBs. With that I end here. There is a lot to be talked, and I am sure we will have more deliberations like this. Today we do on wash, tomorrow we may have to do on landscape issues, specialized planning for Himalayan towns. Himalayan towns can't be planned like you plan in Gurgaon. It has to be different. Everything has to be different. So with that I end. Thank you very much. Dr. Kundu, आपने जो मौका दिया हम सबको, हमारे जो चुने हुए आए हैं लोग, इनकी बड़ी पीड़ा है, निकलेगी बीच में, थोड़ी सी मैंने जगाई है. धन्यवाद.
I would now request Shri Surinder Chauhan, Mayor of Shimla Municipal Corporation, to please come up and deliver his remarks.
हेलो एवरीवन. सबसे पहले तो मैं सबका जिन्होंने ऑर्गेनाइज किया है इसको, डॉक्टर कुंडू मंच पर बैठे हैं, और नेगी जी और सभी रिस्पेक्टेड काउंसलर्स, मेयर, अलग अलग हिमालय स्टेट से आए, सबका मैं बहुत बहुत स्वागत. और आपका बहुत अच्छा इवेंट आपने किया, उसके लिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ. नेगी सर ने हमारी पीड़ा तो बता ही दी है सभी. मैं एक एक चीज़, क्योंकि खुद ये हिमाचल से बिलोंग करते हैं, हर चीज़ को समझते हैं, सब चीज़ को इनको मालूम है कि क्या क्या हिमालय. लेकिन ये एक बहुत अच्छा एफर्ट है हम लोगों को एक मंच पे लाना, और आपका कुंडू मैडम, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं. इसका एक हमारे एक चैलेंजेस है हिमालयाज़ के जो स्टेट्स, जो सिटीज़ है, हम इस पे हमारे डिफरेंट. मैंने ये पाया है कि जो भी कोई पॉलिसीज़ बनती है तो हिल स्टेट्स को उसमें काफ़ी इग्नोर किया जाता है, और ये एक अच्छा मंच है. इस पे हम अपने इश्यूज़ को एड्रेस कर सकते हैं और स्ट्रेंथन कर सकते हैं. और हिमालय में आपने देखा कि पीछे, मैं खुद हिमाचल से हूँ, नेगी जी को पता, पूरे इंटरनेशनली शिमला को और हिमाचल को डिज़ास्टर्स ने बहुत घाव दिए, बहुत ज़्यादा घाव शिमला को लगे उस पर. आप उसका मैं शब्दों में बयान नहीं कर सकता, उसको बहुत नुकसान हुआ हमको इसका, चाहे वो बिल्डिंग्स का है, नालों का है, आपका जो मलबा है हमारा सड़कों में, नालियों में बहकर, जो नेगी सर ने बताया कि हमारा प्लास्टिक किस तरह से बहता है. और हिमालय को लेकर के अपने आप में बहुत अध्ययन तो हो रहा है, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकली आपने जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि हर एक आदमी हिमालय तक पहुंच रहा है, लेकिन उसको पर्यावरण और उसको लेकर के किसी ने कोई गंभीरता नहीं दिखाई जाती इसमें, जो एक बहुत चिंता का विषय है. जो हम लोग उसको एडवेंचर के तौर पे अब लेते हैं. जैसे नेगी सर ने कहा कि अब पहले सन्यासी लोग जाते थे तपस्या करने के लिए, तप करने के लिए जाते थे, लेकिन अब हर कोई हिमालय पे जाने का वो रखता, लेकिन उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और उसको सफाई को रखना और उसको सुंदर बना के रखना वो बहुत कम लोग करते हैं, और जिसके लिए बहुत अवेयर करना पड़ता है. मैं शिमला से हूँ, तो 1851 के ओल्डेस्ट कॉरपोरेशन है हमारी हिमाचल के देश की, आई थिंक ओल्डेस्ट कॉरपोरेशन 1851 में बनी है। तो म्यूनसिपैलिटीज़ समितिज़ थी उस समय, तो आगे आगे म्यूनसिपैलिटीज़ बढ़ते रहे, वार्ड्स बढ़ते रहे। और शिमला एक हेरिटेज है, जहाँ ब्रिटिशर्स की कैपिटल रही है शिमला, तो एक हेरिटेज भी है यहाँ शिमला अपने आप में। अगर आप इसकी खूबसूरती को देखेंगे तो बहुत सुंदर शहर है। और टिकिंदर पंवर हमारे डिप्टी मेयर रहे हैं, मेरे साथ, मैं इनके साथ काम किया। ये खुद इलेक्टेड डिप्टी मेयर रहे, शिमला को रिप्रेजेंट करते, तो डायरेक्ट चुनाव से चुनाव लड़ करके डिप्टी मेयर रहे। अभी हमने 2 दिन का शिमला में एक अपनी ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम होता है, जो हमारी न्यू इलेक्टेड बॉडी, हमें लगभग 5-6 महीने हुए हैं, तो उसमें एक वर्कशॉप रखी थी जिसमें 73rd 4th अमेंडमेंट के बारे में भी हमारी डिस्कशन हुई, और चैलेंजेस ऑफ सिटीज़ और हिमालयस, उसके बारे में टिकिंदर जी ने हमें बताया था कि हम यहाँ पर ऐसा ऐसा वर्कशॉप करने जा रहे हैं। तो हमारी काफ़ी डिटेल में उसमें चर्चा हुई। कुल मिला के मैंने अर्बनाइजेशन देखा, हमने इंडिया में भी 2 तरह के लोग आते हैं सर। एक तो जिसको आप डेवलप्ड कहेंगे कि ये बड़ा अच्छा एरिया है, बड़ा सुंदर है, जहाँ बैठे हैं बहुत अच्छा है। इसी के साथ अगर आप थोड़ी सी दूर जाओगे तो वहाँ स्लम भी होगा। तो 2 तरह की शहर बस रहे हैं हमारे देश में। आप ये कहें तो आप डेवलपमेंट को का नाम तो दे रहे हैं, लेकिन दूसरी साइड अर्बनाइजेशन मेरे ख्याल लगभग अराउंड सर 17 या 20% अर्बनाइजेशन हो रही है। हर स्टेट में बार बार आ रहे हैं लोग, लेकिन उनको जहाँ बैठ गया वो जगह मिल गई, बाकी जो नहीं है तो बाहर स्लम में चल गए। वहाँ पर कोई सैनिटेशन नहीं है, उनके पानी की पीने की व्यवस्था नहीं है, वो प्लास्टिक है, सब कुछ दरिया में जा रहा है, उसमें बहुत सारी समस्याएं हैं। मेरे अपना पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस ये है कि जब भी कोई इस तरह की कोई पॉलिसी बनती है तो हिल स्टेट्स को उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस में लेना चाहिए, और लोकल अर्बन बॉडीज़ को, खास कर इलेक्टेड बॉडीज़ के जो लोग होते हैं उसका अपना एक विजन होता है, क्योंकि वो ज़मीन से रह करके वो कोई कार्य करता है। तो कोई पॉलिसी बने तो उसको विश्वास में लेकर के करना चाहिए। किसी भी तरह की कोई पॉलिसी बनती है तो आप एक ऑफिस में तो बन जाता है, लेकिन प्रपोजल भी बनता है, लेकिन इसमें खासकर जो हिल एरिया है, हिल एरिया को जो सिटी बिलोंग्स करती है, क्योंकि उनके चैलेंजेस अपने हैं, प्लेन एरिया और हिल एरिया के चैलेंजेस अपने हैं, वो एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। इसमें आपको इस चीज़ पे जाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आप इसको विश्वास में नहीं लेंगे तो वो पॉलिसीज़, और दूसरा फाइनेंशियली आप, जैसे निगी सर ने कहा कि 16 फाइनेंस कमीशन आने वाला है, तो हमको एनहांसमेंट होनी चाहिए और हर चीज़ में। और अभी ये तैयारी हो रही है, तो ये हमारी वर्कशॉप बड़े, ये प्लेटफॉर्म हमें एक बहुत अच्छा मिला है, और अपनी आवाज़ को हम कलेक्टिवली कर सकते हैं। एक इस तरह से कलेक्टिवली दें कि हम, पहाड़ है तो तभी शहर है, मेरा ऐसा मानना है। पहाड़ सुरक्षित रहेंगे तो शहर तभी सुरक्षित रहेगा। जो हम लोगों को इसमें, पानी हमारे वहाँ से आता है, लेकिन पानी के लिए हम तरसते हैं, हमारे को पानी नहीं मिल पाता। तो ये इसके लिए प्लान करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। हम बाउडीज़ पे सर काम करते हैं, हमारे पास हमारा बाउडी का सिस्टम है, जो ग्राउंड लेवल वाटर नीचे से उसको पैदा करके उसको हम पीते हैं, तो उसमें मिनरल वाटर है, अच्छा पानी होता है, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकली सर उसको पीने योग्य बताते नहीं। हमारे डिपार्टमेंट कहता है कि इसमें ठीक नहीं है, लेकिन लोग फिर भी पीते हैं। वो बाउडीज़ का कंसेप्ट भी हमारा एक बहुत अच्छा, उस पर हम काम कर रहे हैं। वाटर पे आपने रखा है, तो बाउडी अपने आप एक बहुत बड़ा कंसेप्ट है, उसको पानी को हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं। वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है, उसको पानी को यूज़। लेकिन ओवरऑल मैं ये पाया कि अगर हम बहुत अच्छी पॉलिसीज़ हर कॉरपोरेशंस और म्यूनसिपैलिटीज़ रखती हैं, लेकिन उसके लिए पैसे की आवश्यकता है बहुत। उसको हम कहाँ से कैसे करेंगे, आप एक विजन रखते हो, सोच भी रखते हो, अच्छी हर तरह के काम भी आप कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसके लिए धन की बड़ी आवश्यकता होती है। प्लान आप बहुत अच्छा बना सकते हो, हर तरह से कर सकते हैं। आपने एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात की कि म्यूनसिपैलिटीज़ के पास स्टाफ नहीं है, हम उस तरह का वो कर ही नहीं पाते। हमारे पास एक जेई होता है, बिल्कुल मैं आपकी बात से सहमत हूँ। वो मेरी बात नहीं, आपकी सबकी पीड़ा होगी। हम किसी पॉलिसी को, किसी काम को करने के लिए, अब छोटी सी सैनिटरी इंस्पेक्टर ही नहीं होगा मेरे पास तो मैं क्या करूँगा, प्लम्बर नहीं होगा मैं क्या करूँगा। हमारी जो प्रैक्टिकली जो जिससे हम जुड़े हुए हैं डायरेक्ट, जो हमारा डेली नीड का काम है, हमारा जो हमने जो बेसिक कम्युनिटीज़ पब्लिक को देनी है, उसी की सुविधा उसी को हम नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो एक अपने आप में बहुत चैलेंजिंग है सर। और उसको और डायरेक्ट हम पब्लिक को फेस करते हैं, क्योंकि सबसे पहला अर्बन म्यूनसिपैलिटीज़ में इलेक्टेड काउंसलर्स की ही जवाबदेही आती है। सबसे पहले आदमी उसके पास है, उसका बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट है, पानी नहीं आया, बिजली नहीं आया, सीवरेज खराब है, वो क्योंकि उसकी जवाबदेही बहुत है। जिस तरह से आंसरेबल हुआ है, पब्लिक से डायरेक्ट आंसरेबल वो आदमी है, क्योंकि उसको बहुत कुछ सुनना पड़ता है। ताकत उसके पास वैसी नहीं है जिससे उसके पास होनी चाहिए। जो हमारा एक्ट तो बोलता है 73rd या 74th अमेंडमेंट में, लेकिन बेसिकली शक्तियाँ हमें नहीं मिली है जैसी मिलनी चाहिए थी। वो एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट है, और ये प्लेटफॉर्म आपने के माध्यम से हम ये सारी चीज़ें कह सकते हैं। अभी हमारे डिजास्टर आया सर, हमारे तबाही होगी शिमला में, मतलब 3 दिन जान का मेरे ख्याल 47 लोगों की जानें भी गई, लेकिन ऐसा लगता था कि जैसे प्रलय आ गया। लेकिन वो कुछ गलतियां हमारी हैं, हम डंपिंग है, हमारा जो हम कंस्ट्रक्शन करते हैं उसका डंप किया हुआ मलबा, जो आपने कहा कि प्लास्टिक जो है बोतल कहीं डंप करके निकलता है, जिसे टिकिंदर सर ने भी कहा होगा, ये आगे ब्रीफली कहेंगे क्योंकि इनको वास्ट नॉलेज इनको इस सब्जेक्ट पे भी है। तो वो सारा निकलता है बरसात में, बाहर बहेगा और नाले में चला जाएगा, कहीं ना कहीं उसको वो खराब होगा। पेड़ हमारे हज़ारों तो पेड़ गिरे सर देवदार के। शिमला का लंग्स 850 हेक्टेयर लैंड पे हम फॉरेस्ट है हमारा। वी आर गिविंग ऑक्सीजन टू द ऑल ओवर नॉर्थ। कैन यू बिलीव, हम ऑक्सीजन देते हैं ये हिमाचल पूरे नॉर्थ को, जो प्रोड्यूस करते हैं थ्रू देवदार और ट्री, इतने जंगल की वजह से। लेकिन उसको भी कोई ऐसा हमें कोई उसका फ़ायदा तो मिलता नहीं। अब ट्रीज़ हमारे पास है नहीं, गवर्नमेंट के पास है। जो हमारे सोर्सेज थे जहाँ इनकम के और उसके करने के लिए सारे गवर्नमेंट के पास है। हम तो एक से बड़े सीमित से दायरे में काम करते हैं। तो हम उसके बेल काटने के लिए हमसे अभी आजकल हमने चलाया था, क्लिपर्स होते हैं उसमें बेलें लग जाती, पेड़ों का गला दबा देते हैं। फिर सॉइल इरोजन हमारा बहुत हुआ सर। अभी सॉइल इरोजन पे हमने काम किया, तो अराउंड बैम्बूज और अर्ली ग्रासेस हमें लगा, क्योंकि सॉइल इरोजन होगा तो सारा मिट्टी जो है आपका गिर रहा है, पेड़ दोबारा गिरेंगे। हमारी सर्दी अब आने वाली है तो हमारे बर्फ़ पड़ती है, तो उसको वो चैलेंजेस अलग हैं। पर उसको सॉइल इरोजन को रोकने के लिए हमने बैम्बूज की प्लांटेशन की, क्योंकि सॉइल को पकड़ता है अर्ली, और अर्ली ग्रासेस पे हमने काम किया। और जो हमारी जो वाटर की स्कीम्स है वो लिफ्ट की स्कीम है सर। और एक चीज़ मैं आपको अपने हमारा कैचमेंट एरिया सर, आप खुद वहाँ से हैं, छराबड़ा में श्योग हमारा एक इलाका पड़ता है। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप पानी को लेकर के कोई हमारी आप मदद कर सकते हैं। तो कैचमेंट एरिया श्योग जो अंग्रेज़ों के टाइम का बना हुआ है, उसमें 9 to 10 MLD पानी हम स्टोर करते हैं। चश्मों का सर, चश्मे आते हैं, 18 चश्मे हैं जंगल के बीच में, लेकिन वो रिवाइव नहीं हुआ, उसके बाद बंद हो गया। हम उसको काम कर रहे हैं, उस पर हम बरसात में सिर्फ चश्मे, और ग्रेविटी में पानी ग्रेविटी है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि वो मिनरल है, पानी ग्रेविटी में आएगा। बाकी जो हमारी स्कीम्स है सारी, वो सारी लिफ्ट की स्कीम है। हमें बहुत कॉस्टली पड़ता है, मतलब हम ग्रेविटी में दे नहीं पाते। हमको पहले नाले से लिफ्ट करना है पानी, उसको 3 से 4 स्टेजेस तक हम शिमला पहुंचाते हैं पानी को, करोड़ों रुपए की लग जाते हैं। और हमारा जो कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन है, ये हमारे लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हम जो काम करते हैं हिल एरिया है, वो हमारी और प्लेन एरिया में बहुत फ़र्क है सर। 3 से 4, 5 गुना हमारी अब कॉस्ट है। और जो प्लानिंग बनती है उसकी शहरों को लेकर के, वो बनती है अर्बनाइजेशन, शहरों की जो म्यूनसिपैलिटीज़ है उसको लेकर। हमको उसको विश्वास में नहीं दिया जाता। जो आपको, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि वो गलत बन रही है नीतियाँ, लेकिन जो हिल स्टेट्स है, हिल स्टेट्स का तो अपना अलग से वो उनका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है, आपका खर्चा है, दूसरे बहुत सारी हमारे कैरेज, हमारे को तो कैरेज ही एक, अगर हमने सीमेंट का बैग लेना है तो हमको 100 रुपये तक पहुंच जाता है कैरेज ही कैरेज करने के लिए। तो एक कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन हमारी बहुत ज़्यादा 3 से 4 गुना, अब उसको हम उस पर नहीं कर पाते। तो ये बाकी जो ओवरऑल जो हमारे सीवरेज सिस्टम हमारा अभी काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ जगह नहीं है। जो अर्बनाइजेशन हो रहा है शहरों में, वो एक बहुत डेंजर है। एक इंडिया और 2 तरह का भारत इसमें लगता है मुझे, कई जगह देखते हैं हम, बाहर से तो कई जगह बड़ा अच्छा दिखता है, लेकिन कई जगह जाओ, आप स्लम्स में जाओ तो वो इंडिया, उस इंडिया को देखेंगे तो आपको हैरान हो जाओगे, हम कहाँ अभी हमारे देश में कहाँ कितना हुआ, उस पर वहाँ काम नहीं हो रहा है। तो सैनिटेशन सिस्टम नहीं बन पा रहा है, वो नालों में जा रहा है, प्लास्टिक है, सब कुछ है। तो ये आपने देखा होगा उसके स्लम एरिया के बच्चे प्लास्टिक और वो उठाते हैं। हमने सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक पे भी काम किया सर। हम सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक का, मैं देख रहा था आपकी बुकलेट में, इसमें हम सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक को लेकर के काम कर रहे हैं। 75 रुपीज़ पर केजी हम प्लास्टिक वो खरीदते हैं, लेकिन उसको एक हमारी कंपनी है पानी की, उसको भी उसके माध्यम से हम करते हैं, लेकिन कैश के थ्रू पे उसको हम बचाने के लिए, पर्यावरण की बेहतरी के काम करने के लिए इस पर हम काम कर रहे हैं। और प्लांटेशन हम जगह समय समय पे करते रहते हैं। बाकी सफाई व्यवस्था और 2-3 चीज़ें हमारे पास है जो वाटर सिस्टम है। अब बाकी और कुल मिलाकर के जो आपने सारा ये यहाँ पे हमें बुलाया भी, और आगे जो वक्ता रहेंगे बाकी सभी लोगों का मैं कुछ स्पीच लिख के नहीं लाया, अपनी तरफ से नहीं लाया कुछ लिख के, लेकिन एक फीलिंग्स थी जो मेरे को लगा कि इन चीज़ों को मैं एड्रेस करूँगा। और ये चैलेंजेस हैं हमारे पास, मैंने ऐसे प्रिपेयर्ड कुछ नहीं लाया सर, मन की बात थी जो आपके सामने मैंने रखी है। और मैं समझता हूँ हर एक इलेक्टेड काउंसलर्स, इलेक्टेड मेयर्स जो बॉडी होती है उनकी सबकी पीड़ा रहती है। तो बाकी यहाँ बुलाने के लिए सबको, और हम लोग चाहते हैं कि इसको मैं आगे भी आपको शिमला में चाहूँगा कि आप अगला हमारे यहाँ पे करें। हम शिमला एक हिल स्टेट है और एक आपको हेरिटेज सिटी के नाम से ज़्यादा जाता है। उसको आप नेक्स्ट जो आप वर्कशॉप करें तो मैं आपको वहाँ निमंत्रण देना चाहूँगा। और टिकेंद्र जी खुद शिमला से हैं और भली भांति हर चीज़ को समझते भी, और इन्होंने एक, और आप सभी लोगों का मैंने ज़्यादा समय ले लिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Surinder sir, and thank you, Ramesh Negi sir, also, for throwing light on some very pertinent issues that are prevalent across the cities of the Himalayan landscape. At the launch of the Parvat Manthan Forum, a rapid assessment of water and sanitation in hill states report was also released. It is a significant document that has been prepared as part of advocacy to address and develop inclusive, resilient, and sustainable urban ecosystems in the Indian Himalayan region. The report collates data pertaining to geography and topography, which varies across the Himalayan states and poses various challenges in terms of feasibility of solutions pertaining to solid and liquid waste management, access to water and sanitation, as well as municipal finances. For that, I would like to call upon Mr. Snehit Prakash, Program Director, Boarda South Asia, to highlight the intricacies and learnings from the rapid assessment of water and sanitation in hill states.
Excuse me. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Thank you to all the dignitaries. It was really interesting to hear all the insights from you. We had been discussing about these points for the last 1.5 years under the Parvat Manthan, along with the NIUA team, and we were thinking of what we could do to take certain concrete steps for this forum. So one of the first things that we did was this rapid assessment. Before going into this rapid assessment, why this idea came ahead that we should do this assessment was, we already knew that the urbanization story of India is not in a very great shape. We understood that solid waste is a problem. Out of every 100 kilograms that we produce, close to 70 or 75 end up either in landfills or in our rivers or elsewhere, so it's not treated. Similar was the situation for liquid waste. And what is also surprising is, given the present conditions, close to 1/3 or 1 out of every 3 live in conditions which are slum-like conditions. So urbanization last 50 years India has been, very, very rapid, but at the same time semi-planned or, partially planned. And we were just discussing about this with Mehreen, Shantanu and the rest of the team, and we realized, now imagine this scenario of very fast, very rapid urbanization and semi-planned urbanization in a very remote, small, difficult to reach and isolated hill town. And then you understand how complex this problem can really be. If it is complex in Delhi, then maybe in a place like a Leh or a Kargil or a Pasighat, it is much more complex. And we thought, how do we put this understanding of this complexity on ground? So we started searching whether there is credible data on hill states in India, but surprisingly we found nothing. So we found something on Sikkim, we found something on Leh, but collectively the hill states did not have saying this is what happens in the Indian Himalayan region, and which was surprising to us. It was almost like this region has been kind of neglected in the national policies. So we thought we would do a desk study, 2.5-3 months, and use official government sources to figure out what the water and sanitation scenario is in the Indian Himalayan region. And once we've done this desk study and there is some validation of this data, we can go ahead, take the next step and look into policies, capacity gap, etc. But the first step was just looking what the water and sanitation situation is. And for that we made this publication. I request all of you to please take it up, have a look at it. Please tell us what additional other data sources we can look at, how we can improve this, so that we can take the version up. So this version just explains what the situation is, and we were able to pick up 3 major trends of urbanization in the Indian Himalayan region. First is rapid urbanization. We know that India is rapidly urbanizing, but our estimate is the Indian Himalayan region is urbanizing at a much faster rate, almost twice as much as the rest of the country. So much faster. It's almost, okay, I'll take. So it's very fast. And gone are the days when we could count urban Himalayan residents on our fingers. There's more than 50 lakh urban Himalayan residents today. With that, we're also looking at the population increasing along with close to 25,000 tourist days by 2030 and more than 25 lakh migrants by 2025. So the quantum of urbanization is huge, absolutely huge. The second trend was of inadequate services in the Indian Himalayan region. Again, with more of the 100 liters of sewage that we generate, more than 80% is untreated, mostly going into our rivers and our groundwater. Similar is the story for solid waste. Solid waste is better in the Indian Himalayan region as compared to the rest of the nation, but still not very good. It is still a challenge. And the third major trend was that municipal capacities are low. This is because of a lack of, trained personnel being available, a lack of positions being available as well. We also saw multiple states with either having very, very fresh urban development departments or no elected representatives. So I think from this time we don't have representatives from Arunachal or Mizoram. Kashmir and Nagaland we don't have because there are no elected representatives. Uttarakhand as well. So, and one of the most surprising things that came out was this lack of capacity and autonomy leads to much lower municipal revenues. So India municipal revenue is roughly 5,000 rupees, and in the Indian Himalayan region it's maybe 1,500 or 1,600 rupees. So 1/3 of the money available to actually service the residents. So these 3 things were the major trends, and combined they bring together a story of what we've initially figured out was, and this is open for discussion, of course, that the problems of urbanization in the Indian Himalayan region are still beginning. The problems are still very, very small, but if they're not acted upon in time, it can degrade very, very rapidly. And some of our major cities, this is already visible. I think maybe Shimla, Gangtok, Leh, they're already at our capacities. So these were our initial understandings from the reports. Again, I please urge you to go through the report. Let us know how we can improve it. And NIUA, as the ministry's representative, has already taken a step to compile this data together. So if the mayors, other elected representatives and sector experts can participate in this, I'm sure we can make this a much better go. So last 1 minute, please, ma'am. I'll just take. And similar examples where you have the annual status of education report compiled by Pratham, which is used as a very strong policy document. There's a state of India's environment, which is also compiled by the Center of Science and Environment, which is also used for policy recommendations. Similar for the River Cities Alliance. Can't we not do this for our Indian Himalayan region? Can't we have a publication or a policy document which looks into basic services and use this as an advocacy tool for the Finance Commission to ask for better allocation, or to go to the CPHEO and tell them that this is what we lack and this is what we can look into better. So again, please do look into it. We'll come back to you for your suggestions and inputs and let us know how we can improve this. And hopefully in a couple of years, this can be a really strong basic document which can be used to make policy recommendations. So thank you so much. Please do check this. This is this one. Please do have a quick look at this. Thank you. Thank you.
But outside, chalega na?
We'll now break for tea, but before that, I'd like you all to please gather outside for a group photograph.
So we are heading this way, sir. Yes. Come. Huh? Request all the participants to move outside on your. Jaldi se please request everybody.
I request you all to please have tea, and we'll reconvene at around 11:45 for the first session.
सर एक तो क्या है ना, देखो समझ में सर, ये एक हाँ ये रे, यही है नहीं, ये नहीं है, ये कौन से ये है गुटिया, यही है ना एक, और बोलो शेर कौन है, पवार, पवार ही इधर है, दो और बोलो हाँ हाँ नहीं है पहले किसको पहले संजय सर को अच्छा और इसको
मैं तो बिना पूछे नवीन से बोलो जी सर मैं तो ताने बोलूं बिना पूछे आ गया मैं तो शुरू कर देते हैं ओ बोला ना
मेरे आप मुझे बताओ सर ये मेरे नाम से है ना हाँ हाँ कहाँ की सर बताओ यहाँ सामने